Chapter 11. The Major comes clean. 6 p.m. Monday 17th of August, 1970. Hôtel Marquis, Rue Grenata, Paris. I'm sitting across from Ellis on one of the sofas in the delightful sitting room at his hotel, drinking marvelous tea and savoring it as always, but finding it hard to talk. However, I don't need to talk, because Ellis starts the conversational ball rolling. Been a difficult day for you, Mari? His voice is quiet and gentle. You're bearing up well, old girl. I fumble out my notebook. Since I'm here, we might as well compare notes. But Ellis reaches across and takes the notebook from my hand, putting it down on my side of the little table where the tea things sit. You're upset with me, Mari. Upset that Liana is still with the gendarmes, of course. But also upset with me. What have I done? You haven't done anything. That's true, but he isn't going to believe it, because I am upset with him, and although he's almost a stranger to me, we've only known each other 3 days, he knows me well enough to read my feelings. Mari, did you ever wonder why I'm in Paris? I shake my head. I want to say that I've never given a moment's thought to why he's in Paris. That all I'm thinking about is how to free Liana. But that's simply not true. I've been dying of curiosity about all the question marks hovering around Ellis Peveril's actions ever since he first raged at Charlie Stout on the train. But I don't want to discuss it now that he's giving me the chance because, I'm incredulous to recognize, I'm hurt that he's using me. Why on earth should I feel hurt by anything he does? Come Friday morning when I get on the train to Istanbul, when Liana and I get on that train, I'll never see him again. And then I astonish myself by blurting out, I know that you're using me as bait. I'm the goat tethered in the clearing for the tiger to eat. Ellis chokes back a laugh. Oh, my dear girl. If you knew how hard we've all been working to prevent the tiger from eating you. His face straightens and he reaches across to take my hand and pat it. This is no laughing matter, is it, old girl? You're upset and you're frightened and now you probably think I'm laughing at you. I promise you, I'm not laughing at you. He lets go of my hand and leans back in his chair, stroking his mustache. I'd better come clean, hadn't I? If you know that you're in danger, it's less frightening for you if you also know that you're being protected. In that miraculous way he has, I wonder if there's a noiseless call switch somewhere. He has summoned one of the silently gliding waiters. Chocolate cake for the lady, please. He won't explain until I've started to eat the cake. He's right as usual. I feel a little better when I've swallowed a couple of mouthfuls. Mari, I'm sort of a policeman. Part of a joint task force. We're working with Interpol. We've been watching some people whom we think are moving weapons across Europe. Now I remember him saying, that first day, best border team I know. One of them is a Senegalese woman who approached you and your friend on the ferry. We don't know who she's working with. We don't know why she was here. But we do know that she hasn't been in France since early on Saturday, and that she didn't use any of her previous aliases. We think that possibly she left France on your friend's passport. He can see that I want to know more. I can't tell you any more than that. I go on forking up cake, waiting for him to go on. A local police team is keeping an eye out for your safety, Mari, as I am. And you know that I'm trying to help you to clear your friend of the murder charge laid against her, but frankly, until we've run this crew in, the local lockup is probably the safest place for her. He leans forward, looking fierce. I won't let you be harmed, Mari. I finish eating the chocolate cake and pick up my notebook. It's astonishing how much more cheerful I feel, considering that nothing has changed for the better. Liana is still a captive in the French justice system, facing trial for a murder she had nothing to do with, and although I'm not Major Peveril's tethered goat, I'm likely the target of a gang of gun runners, which is worse. But at least I know that Ellis isn't using me, and while there's no reason why that should make me feel better, it does. Thank you, Ellis. Ellis glances at his watch. I have to go, Mari, I'm late for a meeting. Won't you stay here and have some more tea? I'll be back in time to give you dinner. He smiles at me, and again I am struck by the charm of his smile. We can compare notes then, eh? One of the silent waiters has glided in. More chocolate cake. And Ellis is gone. Valerie finds, when she gets to room 101, that the door is wide open. Obviously Patrice and his co-worker Alec weren't willing to wait for a room key. The door lock is broken. Fleetingly she wonders how they knew which room is Mari's. 5 suitcases and a small traveling case have had their locks bashed in and then ripped open. It's obvious that this luggage can never be used again. The casino bouncers are tossing clothes, books, and small ornaments all over the room at such speed that Valerie is almost overwhelmed with vertigo. She stands there looking at things being propelled in every direction in a blur of blinding motion. She can't imagine how hurling things about will help them to find whatever they're searching for. Fergal stands off to one side, his hands jammed into his pockets, looking sulky. Quietly, Valerie begins to back away. She can't get involved in this, she'd better go back down to reception. She hopes that before she reaches the desk she can think of a plausible lie about why she's returning the key so soon. Fergal catches sight of her. He slips noiselessly from the room, closing the door over as he leaves, and moves off silently in her wake. I'm feeling worn out and a little grimy. That was a lovely pot of tea, and the chocolate cake was delicious, but I'm not comfortable. A bath would perk me up. There's plenty of time before dinner for me to go back to the Hotel Albert to have a bath, and maybe a nap, and change into a nice dress. Just in case Ellis returns earlier than expected, I scribble a little note for him. Valerie lets Fergal handle returning the room key at the Hotel Albert reception, which he does without any embarrassment. The clerk doesn't appear to notice how quickly she has returned, or that she doesn't have any of Liana's things. Where have you parked? Fergal asks after they pass through the revolving doors, and with horror Valerie realizes that now he wants her to drive him somewhere. You are not returning to the casino? With them 2 upstairs just asking for trouble? Not a bit of it. If I'm anywhere in the picture Harry will put the blame on me for this. No, Valerie, you and me are going to the tower now to make sure that everything is shipshape. Must we? They have reached Valerie's little Peugeot and Fergal lifts the keys out of her hand. I'll drive, Valerie, you look a bit down in the mouth. It seems that she must. But she tries to get out of it. Take the car, Fergal. You are welcome. But you do not need me, and I have some matters to attend to, work to do. Valerie trails off because now Fergal is gripping her wrist. In a mockery of courtesy he is opening the passenger door of her car for her and pushing her into the passenger seat. Ellis Peveril has arrived at the offices of the Direction Générale de la Sécurité Extérieure and is being ushered straight into Tristan Toussaint's office. After brief greetings and briefer amenities, Ellis settles down to put Tristan in the picture, which means making his report backwards, because with the minimum of delay a listening team must be put onto recording and interpreting the sound stream now being sent from Harry Brown's office. When the necessary arrangements have been put in train, Tristan puts his feet up on his desk and sips his coffee whilst gazing at Ellis with a fond but irritated eye. "Ah, my dear chap," he says gently, for using English idiom is Tristan's favourite method of delivering a mild reproof, an idiosyncrasy well known throughout his bureau. 2 hours of priceless intel lost to us forever. What were you thinking of? Ellis isn't in the least put out. He knows Tristan's methods of old and there is nothing this man can do which would surprise him. "Alors, mon ami?" he returns, also gently, the spoof finding its mark. Tristan throws up his hand in the gesture of a fencer conceding the hit, so Ellis grins and continues in his normal manner. "Come off it, old boy. 1 hour, if that, and you know as well as I do that she's priceless to us. I had to reassure the asset as my top priority, you know that. I got here as quickly as was compatible with the higher need. Perhaps, my dear confrère, she is indeed priceless to you, and for you there is no higher priority. But come dash." Ellis is sitting dumbfounded, trying to work out if Tristan really means what he seems to have said. Mari more precious to him than ATJF? Ellis does not want to follow that disturbing train of thought to its logical conclusion. The situation is very serious. Tristan is continuing. My colleagues have established that there is a bomb here in the center of Paris. We must discover where. We must know who is responsible. Think you, could it be this bad hat of yours? But Ellis is already shaking his head. He's small potatoes. At least, he was. Who knows what connections they make in prison? Who knows how much resentment being there breeds? Or how strong the desire for revenge grows? He pauses and smooths his moustache, thinking, but I'll be surprised if Harry has anything to do with the bombing. Weapons smuggling, yes. There's a ton of money in it. And I'd love to know how he laid his hands on that casino. His terrorist friends may have arranged that for him. It may be their front. But there's no money in a bombing, just a lot of danger for him. Why would he get involved? Tristan shrugs. The listening team will be set up now, let us go through there and find out what we can. More coffee? Without waiting for an answer, Tristan orders coffee sent to the intelligence team's office, and the two friends walk down the corridor to discover the state of play. Valerie hasn't completely abandoned hope that Fergal will let her go once they reach the tower, but she knows that isn't likely to happen. It's cruel of him, but Fergal is an odd man. All charm on the outside, cold as ice inside. If he happened to think of doing it, he'd boil her bones for soup and be puzzled if anyone told him that he shouldn't have. How she wishes she had never met him. But it's too late now. Fergal, why are you taking me to the tower? Need a lookout, don't I? He looks and sounds sulky, as if it's her fault that what he needs a lookout now for whatever wasn't done earlier. Why did you have to push that taxman over the edge? We had to leave the job at the tower half done. Valerie doesn't ask what job? Fergal is annoyed, and that's never good. Fergal, you know I didn't push him off the tower. He was too heavy for me to push off. Why do you say I pushed him off? You and Henri threw him off. It is not my fault. It is your fault. You pushed him into Harry and Harry dropped. Never mind what. After he saw that, there wasn't time to finish the job. It's all your fault. And don't think you can blame me and Henri. We've got that recording, remember? Who do you think will believe you if you say it was us? Valerie shudders. No one will believe her, no matter what she says. If Harry plays anyone that recording, everything which she has been hiding all these years will be out in the open. She will be despised. You should never have come here. You will not go away in. You horrible, wicked, cruel man, you deserve to burn in hell forever. When they hear her saying that, they will arrest her. The guillotine will follow swiftly. And it would be a relief, to die swiftly, compared to living with her shame once the truth is known. I'm strolling down Rue du Faubourg Saint-Denis, idly glancing into shop windows as I pass them. One very smart dress shop has a model in the window which reminds me of Valerie. Next door is a bar, where Breads Make It With You plays loudly. Perhaps it has been put on the jukebox by the tipsy Englishman who is standing in the doorway inviting me in. Quickly moving on towards the Hotel Albert, I suddenly flash back to Valerie sitting in their bar with her face turned away, muttering my father comes to Paris after all these years and the words fade, silly fireworks. And all at once I know. Tax Charlie is the heartless father who abandoned Valerie and her mother. The casino bouncers have reduced room 101 to an absolute shambles. Some small things are crushed underfoot, no telling what they once might have been, and Patrice is standing in the center of the room, trampling down Marie's clothes and looking a little lost. It is not here, Alec. It must be here. Look under the mattress, right? Before Alec has quite finished speaking, Patrice has produced a sharp-edged knife. Tearing off the bedclothes on the nearer of the two beds, he attacks the mattress with his knife. I see that drunken Englishman has left the bar now and is following me down the street. I quicken my steps. Is nowhere in Paris safe for an unaccompanied woman? Alec surveys the absolute devastation of room 101, where the over-enthusiastic Patrice has savaged the mattresses and pulled down the curtains. He wonders where the detonator could possibly be. The washroom? In hotels like this the washrooms are shared, but there's no other place left to look. Alec glances around, in case some hidey hole has escaped his notice. Hey, where's Fergal? In my haste to escape the tiresome Englishman, I haven't been watching where I was going. Abruptly I bump into someone. It turns out to be a good-looking young Frenchman who takes the chance contact as an invitation to introduce himself. Now I'm trying to escape from two importunate Lotharios at the same time. What is it about the Paris streets once evening sets in? I quicken my steps, again, and with relief reach the pension, pushing through its revolving door partition as fast as I can. Alec closes over the busted door of room 101, so that the ransacking of Mari's room will not be instantly obvious to every chance passerby, and jerks his head at the door of the adjoining washroom. Patrice needs no more elaborate invitation. He charges into the washroom. Seconds later he spots Liana's glossy striped sponge bag. With a triumphant cry Patrice tosses it out to Alec. Alec catches and unzips the bag. No detonator. He shakes his head at Patrice. I walk up to reception and find that a clerk is already standing at the desk, so for once the service is less snail-like. Miss Maguire, we do not expect you so soon," says the clerk after he hands me my giant brass key fob. "Your friend tell us you visit the Sûreté." I've turned towards the stairs with a murmured merci, but at this unexpected news, I swing back. "My friend? The little mademoiselle. So pretty. She helped pensionnaires English. Do you mean our tour guide, Valerie?" The clerk nods and smiles. I'm puzzled. When did Valerie say that? The clerk spreads his hands some minutes. Why should Valerie think that when I left with Ellis we were going to the Sûreté? Ellis hadn't said that. Not that it's important. Murmuring merci. Again, I head upstairs for my bath. Patrice has emptied Mari's laundry bag into the shower tray. No detonator. The last possible hiding place has been ransacked without success. They're out of options. It is not here, Alec. We need to tell Harry. You heard what he said, right? Don't come back without it. We need to find this woman and make her tell us what she's done with it. A woman's head rises into view as she climbs the last few stairs, and Alec reaches around the half-open washroom door to nudge Patrice. But Patrice needs no nudge. He has seen Mari and is already reaching for his knife. I've reached the top step when I see one of Fergal's friends standing next to my room. But where's Fergal? And why is his friend at my room door? If he wants to see me, why isn't he waiting downstairs? And where's his friend? I'm about to move forward and ask what's going on when some formless instinct warns me that I shouldn't, a split second before the washroom door slams open and a hurtling figure charges toward me. The instant that rhinoceros charge begins, I'm racing back down the stairs. Screaming for help. Stumbling in high heels never meant for running in. Tumbling down the curving staircase with that menacing figure racing after me. Is he gaining on me? I twist around as I half run, half fall, down the stairs, just as his arm rises to throw, but that violent movement is frustrated by the other man. He's snarling, "Don't. We need her alive. Drop it." I gasp when I hear alive. They aren't going to kill me. I don't know what other harm they might do me in the middle of a public place, but I don't want to find out. I round the bend in the stairs, coming into view of the lobby. There isn't a soul in sight. My screams for help have not roused the snails at reception. I try desperately to remember the French for "help me." Midday. I scream midday. As I tear down the rest of the stairs, the rhinoceros comes around the bend in the stairs as I gain the lobby. It's still empty, so I'm racing for the doors, screaming midday. I'm frightened of going into those doors. They revolve. The madman behind me might manage to pull them back and pluck me out of them. But what better choice do I have? As I race for the doors, the heel on my right shoe catches in the carpet. At the speed I'm moving, there's no chance to ease the pressure. The heel twists, bends, snaps. My momentum is propelling me forward. There's zero chance I can recover my balance or stop to free the heel. I'm going to fall and the rhinoceros is going to catch me. There's still no one in sight. The cavalry is not coming. Instinctively I rise up on tiptoe inside my shoes and race on, going with the momentum. It works. The shoe comes free. Running on tiptoe as I am now, only my toes are in contact with my shoes. My high heels no longer get in my way, because they aren't touching the ground as I run. Only my shoe tips are in contact with the ground. I'm moving faster than ever. I'm at the doors, here goes nothing. I race into the first door partition and push as hard as I can. I'm going to make it. The revolving door is coming into the street, it's halfway open, it's almost wide enough for me to get out into the street, but not quite. I can't squeeze myself that thin. I push harder, but it's no use, the door sticks. A second later a slow drag backwards starts. Just as I feared, the rhinoceros has caught up and is pulling the revolving partition back into the hotel. I push desperately. Screaming mid-day. Sobbing with fright. Throwing my whole body forward against the glass partition in a futile attempt to widen the gap far enough for me to skin through it. Miraculously, it does move just a fraction. And suddenly something is holding the door open the wee bit further I need. I draw in my breath, make myself as thin as I can, stumble out into the street, where strong arms catch me and instantly put me aside. A blurring figure strides into the door partition I have just escaped from. He pushes on into the hotel. The street goes black around me as I crumple to the pavement. When I come to, Ellis is bending over me. "Back up, old girl. I told you I wouldn't let you be harmed." Gendarmes are leading away the hand-cuffed rhinoceros. What about his friend? Ellis frowns. Someone was with him. Yes, one of Fergal's friends from the casino. He straightens, stroking his moustache. And Fergal? No. At least, I didn't see him. His hand reaches down and he pulls me to my feet. "Let's get you some tea. And aspirin. And then you can tell me all about it." Although his hotel is only a few minutes' walk away, the major whistles to summon a taxi. When it pulls up beside us, he unceremoniously bundles me into it. I understand why he called the taxi when he doesn't get in with me. "Get them to give you some tea and aspirin, and wait for me. I need to look into this." He says something in rapid French to the driver, who pulls out into the traffic stream, and I see Ellis going back into the Hotel Albert just as my taxi abruptly rounds the corner. That's when I realize I'm still clutching my room key.